Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel. So, today's video, we're going to talk about the truth about the TikTok ban. Now, I know a lot of people, guys, for the last few years, especially myself, I've told people for the last few years that you shouldn't have TikTok on your phone and that TikTok is a Chinese spy app. And then people go, well, they sold it to an American company, so it should be okay. Listen, man, if you believe that, then you should believe that President Biden is the greatest president ever, the greatest presence in the United States, right? If you believe that TikTok is not a Chinese spy app because they sold it to an American company, well, I can pretty much say that you'll believe anything. Because just because they sold their company and their technology and their patent to an American company doesn't mean, guys, that the Chinese didn't have a backdoor virus, if you will, or entrance or pathway, into the app once they sold it off. They can still access everything they need to access from China, even though they sold it off to another company. So that being said, guys, the United States now is looking to ban TikTok. Now, you have a lot of TikTok influencers who are crying, and what are we going to do? And, well, you shouldn't have put all your your eggs in one basket. If you were a TikTok influencer and you made a certain amount of money, that's when you were supposed to pivot. You're supposed to pivot and take that money and invest it in other things so that when and when TikTok gets destroyed, you have other means of revenue. The same thing goes for YouTube. You think I'm putting my stock entirely into YouTube? Yes, YouTube's been around for a long time, but YouTube's not going to be forever. It's that simple. So if you're a YouTube creator, you absolutely have to pivot and you have to start putting your money away and investing it in other things that are going to outlast YouTube, outlast TikTok, outlast Instagram. Anyway, that's a different subject for a different day. So guys, with that being said, the TikTok ban has a more nefarious reasoning behind it. It's not just to get TikTok off of phones because they're stealing data from the American people. There's also in the bill, in the TikTok ban bill, if you will, there's more nefarious acts going on. Now, the name of the act is called the Restrict Act. And in the Restrict Act, guys, there are more things going on in that bill than is actually being said. So all we're hearing in the news is that, oh, well, they want to ban TikTok because it's stealing data from the American people. Okay. But then they introduced this bill called the Restrict Bill, right? Or the Restrict Ban Bill. And with that, guys, if you read the bill, there are a lot of things that are going on in this bill that are very, very bad. Actually, it's being referred to as the Patriot Act on steroids. Some people have called it the Patriot Act 2.0, but it's the Patriot Act on steroids for the internet. So one of the things in this bill, guys, is a VPN. And they want to restrict use of VPN for companies, not individuals. So if you or I have a VPN, we're not going to be hit with this 20 years in jail or $1 million fine. It's mainly for companies. So when I first read that, I said 20 years in jail for VPN. This is fucking insane. $1 million, I don't have that. So I guess I'm doing 20 years. Well, when you dive deeper in it, it's for companies, not individuals. So keep that in mind. Now, that's not to say that they won't start... it won't start trickling down to the individuals or the customers such as us, but nonetheless, this is still something that's in the Restrict Act. Now, like any other bill, guys, the Restrict Act language is super vague. So again, with the VPN, right now it's for companies, but they can absolutely transition that over to civilians and or individuals using VPNs. So that's something to keep in the back of your head. Here's the thing. A lot of VPN companies are selling out anyway. So VPNs don't have the allure they had when they first started, where they could block your signature on other websites and block commercial traffic from coming in because you clicked on, a pottery website. Now you have pottery ads all over other websites. They're starting to give in to federal demands. And this is something that you have to actually research, but it's going on. So they're faltering to federal demands, and VPNs are not what they used to be. But yeah, VPNs are pretty much done. And with this Restrict Act, which obviously, guys, I don't see it passing outright. I do see a lot of a push and pull between Democrats and Republicans and vice versa, pushing and pulling on this because there's just so much garbage in here and there's so much shit in this bill that one can only come to the conclusion they're looking to absolutely restrict our communications. And communications, guys, the way you control the world is you control it through communication and real estate. Those are the two ways you control the world. And food, rather, three. Those are the three ways. Now, with communications, being that it's so vast now, they're looking to, in this restrict bill, guys, have access to everything electronic. So whether that's your iPad, your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your Samsung phone, whatever it is, they want complete and utter access to it. So being that they figured, well, the Chinese government had access to it all this time, shouldn't we? And this is where the bill gets nefarious, because they have access to everything on your phone if they want to in the Restrict Act. They have every access to your iPad if they want to. Anything that hooks up to the internet can be accessible by the federal government. This is where the bill gets dangerous. This is where, and now, guys, no matter what you do, they will record it. They will put it into a bank, a computer bank somewhere. Like they do for every phone conversation they listen to. They're not listening to it actively, but they're listening to it and putting it in a storage facility where they can access it just in case you become a not friend of the United States or public enemy of the United States. You become one of those people, all of a sudden, all of your phone calls are now being listened to. The same thing goes for the internet. You become a terrorist, if you will. You become somebody that they don't like or they don't want to like. They have access to everything your computer has ever fucking done. Every website, every porn website, every how-to video on YouTube, every how to make money, how to scam people, every last thing you typed in, keystrokes, everything you typed in. Maybe you typed something in and then you deleted it because you didn't want to bother. Everything in the dark web, every access, every inch of the internet, they are going to reach and they're going to store it. So as soon as they want to bring you up on charges because you said something they didn't like, all of a sudden all of this shit comes up. So again, guys, for everything they're doing, it's pretty bad. Now, I found out a week ago that there was something called the Data Act. Now, the Data Act was something similar to this. Now, the Data Act was back in 2014. The Data Act, guys, had the same kind of restrictions or nefarious uses they wanted. They wanted to have access to the American people's data, whatever that was. So that got buried in 2014. Now you have the Restrict Act, which is, again, the Data Act on steroids. So this is something that they're going to also use for their adversaries, if you will. So if you're a Chinese politician here in the United States, if you're any kind of diplomat from another country, they can use the Restrict Act to access everything in your phone, again, through internet. So if the internet is touching it, that's everything. Even phone calls, guys. Even those stupid phone calls people do on Instagram and Facebook, all of that as well, and the entire conversation and video. This has access to it all. This is not something to shrug off. This is something very bad. Now, do I see it passing? I don't know anymore. I don't know what Republicans are thinking. I don't know what Democrats are thinking. I'm thinking it might not because there's so many bad things in this bill, but who knows these days. Now, the Restrict Act is an acronym. I have to read this because I'm like, I couldn't believe they came up with this. But the Restrict Act is an acronym for Restricting the Immerse of Security Threats That Risk Information and Communication Technology Act. That is a mouthful. Now, this Restrict Act was established on March 7th of this year, 2023. So again, guys, this was thrown out there. This doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's still in its baby phase, if you will. But I don't see it happening because, again, so much crap that's in it, so much intrusive access to the American people is in this bill. And if any Republican or anybody is for privacy, this bill or act is not going to pass. At the very least, they're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and fix it or make it better. There is no making it better, guys. Let me throw that out there. The Restrict Act, there's no making it better. The only better is getting rid of the bill altogether. The Data Act died. The Restrict Act has to die as well. Anyway, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.